Today I want to talk about factory designs. It can be a little daunting at first when you're opening the Create mod and you've got all these different tools and bits and bobs to play with. It's hard to see how they all kind of fit together. So I want to talk about the design that I ended up settling into. Um, there's three major sections. There's the power source, the storage, and the machines themselves that actually do the different stuff. And then there's a logic board on the back that kind of controls everything. So the first thing that you're going to need when you're building a factory is the power generation itself. So I have the steam boiler. The parts of the boiler that you need to keep moving in order to run the boiler itself are all run by a windmill, so that no matter what happens to the lava source that is powering the boiler, it can always be automatically restarted without needing to go up there and manually turn a crank. The lava source in my case is being pumped all the way over from this here. Um, I made it once with a boiler over here because I was going to build some stuff over here. See, I've got some machines. Um, but I ultimately decided that for the actual factory itself with all the little machines, I needed to build it over here. I didn't want to make the lava source again, but this is part of what you need. You're going to need something that's generating lava. I'm using dripstone, cauldrons, glass, and then it's all being pumped into this little thing for a reserve tank, which is powering this steam boiler as well as this steam boiler. I'm also pumping lava over to this side over here to one of the machines so I can make obsidian sheets, or the train sheets. Once you've got your power source for your machines sorted out, you need a storage system. I use a bunch of vaults which have an intake and an output, inputs and outputs. So this is the output side, and they're all connected together with these stock links on top of packagers. So what happens is you take the stock links and you link them all together, and then you place them on top of these packagers for each of your vaults, and now they're all linked as if they are one inventory. And then when you make orders over there, I've got my chicken and a stock ticker, and that is hooked to these stock links. Basically, you make orders through the chicken or whatever other mob you want to put here. This is all of the inventory that I have being stored over there in those vaults. I use chain conveyors to do the bulk of the movement of packages, and then the frog ports and the packagers handle unpackaging and repackaging. So from here, I can take items that I have and throw a few in there, and it'll automatically put it into packages and send it on its way. And then this frog port picks it up, and it just goes into the whichever vault is full or not full. Anything that you want to put into the storage, you can just send down this conveyor belt, and it's labeled storage, so that when the stock ticker receives boxes, so I put it in the send chest, it automatically boxes it up, gives it to the frog, and the sign on the side is labeled storage. That labels the box, which puts it on the conveyor, sends it over here, down this way. Frog picks it up, unpacks it, and puts it into the vaults. that is probably the most complicated part of the whole factory. Each of the machines will come together as you learn each part, but this design took me a while to kind of come up with. And what you do with the machines, I've got a couple of manual ones in the back, so they're not really hooked to the system in any way. But I've got these crushing wheels and this washer, which is not finished. Um, and what happens is there's a input and an output chest. So this one's just like there's an input and output on the storage. There's an input and output on each of the machines, and you label the input crush, in this case. Output doesn't matter. It's just gonna the label for that is on the side storage again. So anything that gets put into this chest automatically gets turned into a box and sent to the storage over there. And then the input gets brought up and processed by the machine. In this case, mechanical arm plops it into these chutes and then crushing it, and then that drops below into the input chest, or the output chest. The last part, to link it all together, you're going to need factory gauges. And these, basically you connect them together, and the recipe is the way that you program them is that you take the recipe, you connect it up, and you put the label on it. So in this case, the label is crush. Remember a minute ago we were just looking at the machine that had that label. And we're going to take 64 cobblestone, which is set by this factory gauge. And then I just increased the number. And then I'm expecting gravel. And I just set the gravel on this factory gauge. And then you hold right click and you set it to the amount of stacks or physical items you want to hold in storage. So all of these are linked to the stock links as well. And that's pretty much it. I mean, that's the basic design. You're gonna build all your farms in and around this general design, and it's infinitely expandable. You can add plenty more boilers, an infinite amount of machines. You know, the board can be expanded, the storage can be expanded. Everything is expandable, which is why I like this design. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.